Hello, fellow Rosarians. Thank you for joining me today. I'm here in England, and I'm here for a 7-day tour that Paul Zimmerman hosts called The English Rose. And before, I didn't want to wait until the end of the video series to share with you the cost, because I want you to be thinking about it. The cost for the travel, the trip itself ended up being about $5,000 US. And then on top of that, you would need to calculate your airline tickets to get from your local airport international over to Heathrow. And then if you decide to come in early, your hotel stay would not be included for however many days early you want to come in. But what is included is gourmet meals 3 times a day, beautiful luxury hotel stays that are something that I couldn't even imagine, because let's just face it, when I travel, I'm at the Hilton or the Hampton Inns, but I'm not at a 5-star hotel. It's a unique experience where you're being immersed in a lot of the English cuisine, so those gourmet foods. Then you get your travel, the coach to all of the gardens that you're going to. You get the early access in a lot of cases so that you're the only group there in the gardens, and you really get to feel like it's all yours to explore and wander. So I wanted to get that out front, but now let's get into the details of the trip. So Ken and I flew out first thing in the morning from DC, and we left at 7:30 or so in the morning, getting there 2 hours early for a flight. And I should preface this by saying we are not experienced travelers. We don't travel, so you're going to get some laughs out of our experience. So as we left and we're taking this flight, and England is 5 hours ahead of us, we get to the airport at 8 o'clock local time, London Heathrow. It feels like our local time would be 5 hours prior, would be 3 p.m. But we were so exhausted and so tired, and we couldn't take into account on the itinerary that they gave us. They said you walk from the Terminal 2 to Terminal 5. So we were thinking about that as we get off the plane and trying to figure out how to walk to Terminal 5. How far is it? Who knows? But we get stuck in immigrations. I never even thought about that. Never. Because when I've been traveling in the past, there's no immigration for me to go through. So we get stuck in immigration, and of course, they declined my passport in their auto service. So after standing in this really long line with my passport, they said that I need to go to secondary, and now I'm pulled aside. Now, I didn't have to be searched, thank God, but they looked at my passport and said, we don't know, the problem is you're fine. But it ended up taking us another hour and a half to get through immigration, so prepare for that worst case scenario. And then we go and we get our luggage, but then after you get your luggage, you're standing there and thinking, where do I go? I mean, I'm in Terminal 2, how do I get to 5? And so it was really difficult to figure out even how to get started. Ultimately, I had to ask for help. And the gentleman that I spoke to in a beautiful accent said to me, well, you take the lift down -2. I'm like, lift? And I just kind of looked at him a second. I said, -2. Elevator? Do you mean I take the elevator down 2 floors? And he said, yes. And he's probably thinking to himself, oh, Americans. So anyways, I go to the lift -2, and I, find my way now to the express. And I had asked him, I said, what's the express? Is this like a metro? Is this a underground train? And he said, yes. So I take the express now that takes me from Terminal 2 to what I hope is right where the hotel is, Terminal 5. But I was so tired, and it seemed to take forever, and we were walking. I honestly think it was about 45 minutes, to be honest with you, but I could be really wrong because I was tired. But we ended up getting to the, after taking, the metro over to Terminal 5, the hotel. And so when we finally get to the Sofitel, it is 10:30. And it feels every bit of 10:30 at night, even though it's 5 o'clock local for me. And so I was hungry. And so now I'm thinking, as I'm getting my card and running to the room, I'm looking and saying, can I get service? And yeah, you can get room service, but we only had until, 11:45 or so p.m. to get in our order. So you better believe we put in that order. But as we were trying to get into the room, We open up the door to the hotel, and I didn't get pictures of it. I will have to add those later if I can. But as we were entering the room, it's pitch black. And I'm walking around and trying to push all the buttons to figure out how to get the lights on. For the life of us, we could not figure it out. And then we look over on the wall right inside the door, and there's a place to put your room key. I had no idea. I've never seen this before. So we put in the room key, and voila, all the lights come on in the room. And so that was a learning lesson. And then making sure that we had the right connections. Some people on the trip brought converters for Europe, but not for what, Ken?
Well, they bought a Euro converter, but there's United Kingdom. I bought the Amazon pack that has 4 different white Europe converters.
Okay, so you heard it from my husband there. I won't try to repeat what he said. So fortunately he brought 2 so we could share it with somebody here if they needed it. And so then we get our food, and it was amazing. I mean, really amazing. And just, I want to put out there, one of my fears coming into this trip is I have a dietary requirement. I am vegetarian, and I was really worried about the food. I have not been disappointed with one meal. If you have any dietary restrictions, they will take care of you on the trip, and we'll get more into that, what I was served at each one of the locations. So there you are. We're in the room. We have a great night's sleep. We wake up, and we meet at noon the following morning to start the tour. And so at noon, we head down to the lobby, and the entire group is there, and we got to meet everybody, say hellos, tell where we came from, and then we got a coach, and we got onto this chartered coach and went 2 hours then into Winchester. And so once we were in Winchester, we dropped off our bags in the room, and I want to show you a video really quick of our room. And so as you're looking at this room, I want to take you over to the window and show you the amazing view that we had. I was so excited to see that we were right next to the cathedral. I mean, it is so beautiful. So after we checked in to our rooms, we had several hours to go look around town. And so what I want to show you now is the walk that we took. And in the videos that I'm going to be doing in this series, a lot of times I overlay the video with music and I strip out any of the sounds. But I really want you to take in this experience, so I'm going to leave a lot of the talking and the noises there purposely, so that you can take it in. So let me take you now down to Winchester Cathedral, which was only 2 blocks or so from where we were staying. So as we're walking down this corridor, I'm loving all of this brick and just the peace and the quiet of the area. Now, we did come in 2 weeks after the Royal Jubilee, so I'm thinking that there must have been a ton of people there at that time. So we really felt like we had the place to ourselves. So as we turn this corner, look at these beautiful roses that are up against the brick. And we'll go back and we'll take another look at it from the other angle. So now I'm going to bring you to the back side of Winchester Cathedral. So let's walk through and let you take in the enormous size of this cathedral. And as I'm walking up and looking at it, I'm dreaming about all of the people that have been married here in this church. So as we round through the side of the church, there's this beautiful entryway to walk through, and I want to share that with you. And there's one rose that we saw in the area of the church that I want to show you. It really looks like Bliss Parfuma, doesn't it? So now let's go ahead and look at the front of Winchester Cathedral. All right, so now let me go ahead and take you on to Abbey Gardens. This was something that we found on our own as we were walking around, and I think a lot of other people in the group did also, so let's go take a look at that. And we'll walk through here. Look at this. I wonder if that's mock orange. This is definitely lavender in here, just getting ready to bloom. Lamb's ear, more mock orange, I think. And then if you look down here, we've got a beautiful rose. I wish that they had things labeled, because wouldn't you like to know the variety? It's not supported on the wall. But let's look through here real quick. They've got raised beds. I love the contrast of the color here, the light green. I love boxwood. And then if we look in here, this lavender is just getting ready to bloom. Look at this. I love thinking about making a space like this at my house where people just want to walk through to see what is around the next corner. More lavender flanking the edges. Looks like sedum over here. Lavender begging for us to come over there and look at it. And look at this beautiful rose climbing. Beautiful lavender in a box hedge. You can never have too much lavender. You know, this is Nepeta. I'm looking at the leaves now. This is Nepeta. This is lavender. The difference between lavender and Nepeta. little puppy there. I see some beautiful flowers, maybe roses over on the far side. Over here, I want to go look at. Wow, this is a beautiful bright color. So the only sad part for me is not knowing the varieties of the roses that I'm looking at. It would be nice if they had labels, but we'll just have to enjoy taking them in. Really beautiful. These roses could really use a pruning, and if you're wondering if I brought my clippers, I did not. Oh, let's see who this one is. So thanks so much for joining me. I'm really looking forward to sharing this video series with you. I'll be putting them out every other day or so, and it's about 2 gardens a day. There are some exceptions, but keep in mind that I'm not able to spend as much time, because there's so many roses, spend as much time zooming in on each rose and telling you the name if they don't have the tag there. But I know that you're going to find some things that you really love about these gardens, and I hope that you're able to incorporate some of the ideas into your own. So thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.